Good evening, professional wrestling fans, and welcome to this, your latest installment of the Midweek War. I'm your pal in the mainstream media, and thank you for joining us for the debut of, this is not the debut of the Midweek War featuring TNA Impact Wrestling, but tonight is the Midweek War podcast debut of the TNA Big Board.
Ooh.
Technology, at last. The finest advancement in wrestler movement technology ever brought to podcasts. We'll get to that in a minute. First, let's meet my compatriots here. First, the voice of Inspire Pro Wrestling, Eamon Peyton. Eamon, how are you tonight?
Hello, good sir. How are you?
I'm fine and dandy. And from the WrestlingRevolution.com, here's Antonio Garza.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm the one who likes Impact.
The one who likes Impact. Yes. Well, we'll talk more about the big board behind me. As you can see, there are numerous categories. I hope you can see it through your pixelated video feed. But we have a column for TNA wrestling with all the guys, and we have a column for like question mark, like why are those guys on TNA's website on their roster, and we have out for guys who have left Impact. And we have a column for Global Force, guys who have gone to Global Force, since it might also be a TNA. And we have a column for Hit by a Train. But Mickie James was hit by a train, but you are not hit by a train anymore. I think... Wait, where's Mickie going?
I believe she's back in.
Yeah, she's back in the roster.
She's in, so you go back in, Mickie James. Okay, and we got to have and Bully Ray arrive tonight.
He's back.
Bully's back, so Bully this is getting crowded. Wait, we gotta find room for Bully. Okay. Come on, TNA roster, don't let me down. Anyway, we will use this board to track the hemorrhaging of talent from TNA. It'll be lots of fun. Anyway, here's what we normally do.
Oh, boy.
We give you a word, we give you a good, we give you a bad, we give you a change. We give you a big board. It's lots of fun. Anyway, Eamon, let's get this thing rolling. Give me one word for TNA Impact this week.
Terrible.
Okay. Garza?
Laying it out there.
Fantastic.
Jesus Christ!
It's gonna be that kind of show.
We hate each other.
All right, Garza, since you're the one with a little positivity, tell us something good for this week's Impact.
Okay, I'm just gonna put it out there. I like that Bully Ray is the new manager. Here's why. Think of all the people recognizable in TNA that could have been brought back to be the managers. And from all those people, remove all the ones that suck at talking. And you're not left with many. Then from those two, remove Mike Tenay, and you have Bully Ray. He could be really good at this job. He could be good. He's a good talker. We all know that during his Aces and Eights run, like while TNA was crap, Bully Ray was really good at talking. So, and like for instance, he has beef with some of the guys like Storm. He has beef with EC3. Like so, there's storylines.
Beef with Dixie Carter.
Well, no, we already saw that fix at first segment, so it's okay.
Oh yeah, they put it through a table and all that, and it's just fixed now.
Well, Bully Ray's been a good talker since he was in tie-dye, but so
hey,
your point is
Bully Ray has put his little brother on a table, and he keeps coming back to help him. So.
Yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying Bully Ray's motivations are like any have always been great. Like they've not, but yeah.
Eamon, should we? I'm afraid to move on from this point. What's your good thing?
I got it good. It's my good goes to Rockstar Spud because I can tell he's trying, and I can tell he's trying so much more than others. Yeah, Rockstar Spud's pretty great.
I agree.
I thought it was exciting that Spud got a title match, and they're like, "Yeah, you get a title match, Spud." And then they start doing the introductions. They're like, "Oh, he didn't mention to Spud that everyone else was getting a title shot too at the exact same time." kind of duped, yeah. All right, Eamon, can you give me like one bad thing for TNA this week?
I can because it's kind of general. The wrestling. The wrestling was very bad this week. Sorry. The main event between Ethan Carter and Drew Galloway is pretty good. However, two things really stuck out for me as being really bad. One was the X Division title match, which I don't think had any. The crowd did not give a shit. It also ended with Tigre Uno doing a spinning flip thing onto Grado's leg, and then
that was an all-time.
And then pinning him, and Grado had to sell like he was knocked out. What is happening? And then the bigger one was the fact that we have a new Knockouts champion in Brooke.
That wasn't a
who won the match? Who won the match by a botched facebuster?
I thought that was her move. Was the botched facebuster? I thought that was her finish.
It looked like crap. It looked like absolute crap.
Garza, assess Brooks' finisher.
No, it was a botch.
It was a botch. It was a straight up botch.
But let's be honest, it's not the first time we've seen a botch.
No,
I don't. It didn't stand out to me for some reason. I think I was just so shocked that Brooke won. I was like, what is happening?
This was Brooke ending the longest reigning Knockouts champion ever.
Yeah, she took Gail Kim's win.
Yeah. And
Gail Kim helped. Kitchen Nightmare, she showed up.
And Gail Kim came out to zero reaction. She got an Eric Rowan pop for her return.
Well, there was a lot of zero
never gets reactions.
The Impact Zone was a little quiet.
Yeah, it's a negative.
They were just like, oh, she's here. Cool. Oh, she's got a new.
They weren't ready. They weren't primed for it. They only teased it for a week, right?
Yeah.
You gotta come on. You gotta She hacked the Dollhouse segment, which was fun. I was like, oh, this is great. Gail Kim's gonna come back in 3 or 4 weeks. Oh no, she's coming back in the next segment. And you're right. The title change was ill-advised.
Wasn't necessary.
As much as we all like Brooke. Why'd you do that?
Now Gail and Taryn are gonna have their feud, and what is Brooke gonna do?
Well, I think the more important thing is that what more reason does Gail Kim have to go after Taryn Terrell? She cost her the title. What's left to do? There's nothing left to do. I don't know. That was a bad decision.
Maybe Brooke will get to defend the belt against transphobic Velvet Sky, but maybe we'll get into that later.
Stone Cold Sky.
But yeah, that was my bad for this week because the wrestling was pretty bad.
Well, I'm glad you at least gave Drew and EC3 a pat on the back. I thought that was a nice match. Garza, what do you got for your bad thing?
My bad for this week is...
I'm glad you didn't take them all up for you. You said them all. Go on, sorry.
It's kind of picky, though. No, my bad is that TNA completely failed to check that Hernandez had a contract with Lucha Underground. And now all the segments of the BDC, at least, I don't know for how many weeks, have to be taken out because fucking Hernandez fucked it up.
So, are you telling me that Hernandez is technically not part of the TNA roster?
Actually, no. I think TNA already fired him.
Yep. So you can move that.
Should I move him to question mark?
Move him to Hit by Train.
He was really hit by a train.
That's good because I needed for Bully Ray to move in anyways. Okay, good deal.
Yeah. And what the hell?
Yeah. That's bad. That's bad for Hernandez for not saying it. That's bad for TNA for not checking. But the ones who are really hurt here are MVP, are Loki, are Kenny King, and whoever they're feuding against. Because I don't know who they're going to feud against now. But it kind of sucks that you can't really show any of that anymore because fucking Hernandez.
So do they get to show it after Lucha Underground is done with its season? Will we get all the Hernandez segments all at once? Will we get an all Hernandez special?
An all BDC episode of Impact.
It depends if Lucha Underground releases Hernandez or not from the contract.
Yeah, I think they will after. I have a feeling they will after Ultima Lucha.
Yeah. I figure everyone's gonna get sprung loose at some point here.
I mean, I think they get an off-season, but I'm not really sure if they're allowed to sign contracts with someone else. So I don't know what Lucha's gonna do because maybe they have plans for him for season 2. But yeah, that's my bad. Like TNA fucked up and Hernandez fucked them up.
That's too bad. How about something you would change about Impact this week?
My change goes back to one half of Eamon's back, which is the thing we were talking about. Brooke didn't need to win the title. I would have made that a non-title match and have Brooke get a clean pin on the champion, and that's good enough for this feud. But it does seem weird that they take the title off of Taryn because we now have. I mean, we know that's gonna be Kim versus Taryn for a while, but like I imagine it's gonna have to be like Awesome Kong versus Brooke for a while. I don't know, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
So I just would have made that match a non-title match.
I mean, for all the nasty things Eamon was saying about Velvet Sky, she's on a trajectory too, and Gail was coming back. That you had two people that you could kind of direct both of those people at Taryn, and then just kind of like take your pick. And now you've like thrown all that out, and you're back to square one. So
I suspect that they made the title change because Taryn's contract was coming to an end, and he hadn't.
Do we have to move her? Remove her?
No, not yet. But I think that's the reason they changed it. So I can totally see them changing it back in the next set of tapings.
Eamon, what do you got for a change?
My change is simple. Find someone else other than Bully Ray. It makes no sense.
Even Josh admitted that it made no sense on commentary.
This makes no sense. Also, if this was like Dixie, basically how they're trying to explain it is that Dixie, when she got powerbombed through the table and saw the fans cheering or whatever, she had a reaction of like, maybe I did all this wrong. Hey, here's the problem. That happened a long time ago.
She did say it was during the rehab. Not exactly at the point when she hit the table.
But she still made appearances on like TV, I'm pretty sure. Like
no,
it was still.
She just made the last weeks.
Was it like? But she still. I don't know. It's that weird thing where it's like she's still very vocal on social media to where I don't. You know what I mean? Like she's
never really gone. Yeah.
She's been behind Ethan Carter this whole road on social media, and now she's like, yeah, I know you won the title, but I'm gonna do something like fuck you over. Is that okay? Like. Doesn't make any goddamn sense.
I don't think your problems are with Bully Ray. I think your problems are with Dixie and what Dixie is doing. Hey, do you think it's weird that like every major promo on Impact has to start with a story about a phone call now? Like you had like Jared had to talk about his phone call and Bully Ray. Like I feel like I wanted to start the show and be like, you know what? I was sitting here and my phone rang and I looked at the caller ID and it said Dixie Carter. And I didn't answer it, so now I'm doing the midweek war. See how that works? Everything's fine.
I shared it on the Wrestling Mayhem Show Facebook page, but the graphic for this week's advertising graphic for this week's TNA was such a fitting title for the show. It just said "Champions Defend" and someone new is in charge.
Hey, that's what happened. So
that's accurate for the coming episode of TNA.
Here's the other thing that bothered me about Bully Ray is And TNA does this a lot, and maybe they're just kind of like trying to like help morale, but they're always boasting about having the best wrestling roster in the world, on the planet, in the universe. I'm like, dude, no one thinks that's true. It doesn't mean you have bad wrestlers, but no one believes you. Just don't say that. Come up with something else, some hungrier, the hardest working. I don't know.
Just say you're working hard or whatever.
I don't know. Come up with something, but. Don't say you're on the same. You're living on the same rock as New Japan Professional Wrestling. So if you try saying that shit, it ain't gonna fly. All right. Yeah. That's just bottom line. You can't get away with that.
No way. Also, side note from another thing happening: T. Ray Uno is gonna call out Donald Trump.
That's gonna be awesome.
Oh,
I never thought.
Fuck.
So, on the list of most unlikely things I thought I'd ever see in professional wrestling, that is so far down.
That's the one thing I want. That's really what I want to do to get behind the X Division champion is to have him cut a promo on a fucking celebrity billionaire over his issues with race. Like,
I hope they do it like Lucha Underground and Tigre just speak Spanish and they subtitle the whole thing and just go a roll like that.
I can see
I
that.
just want to say, the first time I saw Tigre Uno at an IWC wrestling show in Elizabeth, Pennsylvania, the first thing that went into my mind was not, someday this man's going to call out Donald Trump on national television. So strange.
I don't get it.
Kurt
go ahead, Tony.
No, I was just going to say that I'm surprised that your good of the week wasn't that Ken Anderson is contemplating retirement.
That is pretty great. That is pretty great. Because Ken Anderson, going back to Ken Anderson, Kurt Angle announced that he had a tumor in his neck, and that he wasn't going to be wrestling, but he was going to be coming back from having a tumor in his neck. And then Eric Young appeared, and I realized, like, TNA produces, like, the same kind of wrestler. Like, Eric Young is the same wrestler as Ken Anderson, is the same wrestler as James Storm, who's the same wrestler as Gunner, who's the same wrestler as Bram, who's like it's like a weird amalgamation of like semi-southern like full of like tattoos and just like you know really terrible, just really terrible.
Well, they're more I think they're more human than cartoon characters. So
yeah, like it's like the worst kind of human. You know?
I don't know. I've seen worse humans in professional wrestling than what they're bringing. I mean, and honestly, I mean, Bram's like kind of one of the things they're doing right. I mean, granted, they do re-sign him to a new contract every couple weeks, but they're committed to him and they're sticking with him. And that's really something that TNA doesn't really do a lot. You know, they don't pick something and stick with it. Like, I don't know, stick with the hottest thing that you have in your women's division. Don't just have her drop the title for no freaking reason, you know? Yeah. Stuff like that. Get something and stick with it. So at least with Bram, they stick with it. The number one contenders battle royal at the beginning of the show. Was this the worst battle royal you've ever seen?
No.
It was down there for me somewhere. I mean, I'm not sure why. It did like nothing for me.
For every bad TNA battle royal that I've seen, there's like 10 or 15 Divas battle royals that are worse. Far worse.
Male battle royals.
At least those are like somewhat interesting sometimes because you get like funny, like stupid things that happen. But like, no, this was pretty bad. And also in the main event, Eli Drake turned on Drew Galloway because something.
That was good. No, that was good.
I don't know. I'm just not invested in the Rising.
They did disband the Rising, so Eli Drake has no choice. He can't side with Drew Galloway because the Rising has been forced to disband. He must turn on him. Those were the stipulations, Eamon.
And this pretty much confirms that the BDC versus Rising or Drew Galloway is over. So thumbs up. Thumbs up for Eli Drake turning on Drew Galloway.
I was shocked by how tall Drew Galloway looked next to EC3, and I never thought of like EC3 as like slightly undersized, but he looks slightly undersized next to Drew Galloway. He looks like a monster next to EC3. And I was telling Mad Mike last week, or maybe it was a couple weeks ago, when we were trying to contemplate like who should be put on path to challenge EC3, and Drew Galloway was my guy, and this was way too soon. And it was still a good match, but I wanted to see like them kept apart, and I wanted to see like a real build with Drew as like a real credible like big match challenger for EC3, because I think he's one of the few guys that they could have done that with.
Yeah,
and now they just
I like Drew Galloway's wrestling. Like his stuff on the Indies especially has been really great. So I think he's a very capable competitor and wrestler. I don't know. He's probably the best wrestler, like besides EC3, obviously. He's one of the more capable wrestlers I think TNA has, in my opinion, because I really don't love TNA's wrestling. But yeah, I think he has tons of potential. I'm not really into a Rising breakup feud because it's like you guys were barely ever together. Like you were together for what, like 2 months?
Where's Micah? Where's Micah in all this? Will he be the special referee? I can get behind Micah as a special referee.
Micah can go back to NXT as far as I'm concerned.
He was an NXT superstar, perhaps you recall, back in the day. Did I cut you off, Garza?
No, go ahead.
So they re-aired a clipped version of Magnus versus James Storm from Slammiversary, and I think they took out all the good parts of it.
Yeah, I actually, that's the thing they had to replace the BDC segment with.
Is that how they did it?
I think so,
very
yeah.
nasty.
But I think they did a good job at, I mean, it wasn't about showing the match, it was about building up next week's match. So I give them props for giving us all the relevant stuff from the last week's and building up to the next match.
I just feel like it's too bad that they didn't show the big Magnus elbow off the top rope through the table. That was just like that deserved to be shown a couple more times. If you're going to do that, you should be putting that on there. You know what was funny? Also in that segment later on when James Storm was doing his little talkie segment, James Storm apparently just sticks with the standard Verizon ringtone on his phone, which I thought was really odd. Like, you should have had like a creepy ringtone. Why does your phone just like sound like every Verizon phone I've ever heard in my life?
Come on, is there something creepier than Verizon?
Oh yeah.
Maybe not.
Maybe AT&T, but
maybe James Storm should just drop the whistle thing from his thing, and his entrance theme should just be a Verizon ringtone going off over and over again. I think that would generate some real heat. So people or everyone in the crowd would just start reaching for their phones like that, you know? Whenever you hear your ringtone going off, you know how that goes. Oh, is that mine? That's stupid. Is there anything else we need to mention here? I think we've covered all the high points of Impact here, Raymond.
I think we got everything.
Yeah.
I thought the production was a little bit off this week, but I'm not going to kill them for it because apparently they're getting a new production company to help them with their television production. I kind of saw that nugget the other day. I don't know if that's part of the cost control for the inevitable departure from Destination America. Shh, it's not happening. Not really. It's not happening.
I will say, was one quick side note. I really loved when Gail Kim made her return and the lights went out and Josh Matthews went, "Are our mics still on?"
Oh yeah.
Did Dixie not pay the electric bill either? Oh my goodness.
It's Magnus and Storm. They're still fighting the backstage.
I should also I'd be remiss before we run out of here if we don't mention that you mentioned Kurt Angle's surgery. They had to remove his benign tumor in his neck, but he had like a complication the other day.
Yeah.
And he was making the rounds here in Pittsburgh and online that he had he had to get rushed to the hospital and have an emergency surgery, but apparently they caught it in time, and he's going to be super duper. He was tweeting to anybody who would listen earlier today and thanking everyone for their well wishes. So we will chime in and say, get well, Kurt. Always get well, Kurt. Always keep getting well. And let's tell everybody where we rank TNA Impact this week on the Midweek War. Garza, you go first.
I am ranking Impact Wrestling in the number 3. I particularly like Impact. Like, I know the wrestling's better, but I enjoyed this episode of Impact. I felt that most of the storylines either advanced or some of them are kind of new, so it was so good.
Amen.
Bottom.
Is it number 5?
It is number. It's number 6. No.
No.
No, I'm not trying to be too negative, but yeah, this was definitely the worst of the 4. Like I said, the wrestling was really bad in my opinion for the most part, and yeah, I wasn't a fan of it.
Yeah, when you come out of the show more interested in the bad decision making than you were in the actual wrestling, that's too bad. And as much as I appreciated them trying to do EC3 and Drew, it can't take away. This wasn't any good. This was a number 4 show this week. I'm sorry, Impact, but hey, I gave you number 1 back-to-back weeks. Haven't I done enough for you? I think I've done enough for you.
Yeah, like any other show, Impact has some good shows and some bad shows. So.
Yeah. I just wish I felt like it had momentum again. There was a point like months ago where it felt like there was some real momentum behind it, but now it just feels like they're just kind of like trying to plug holes and just kind of make things work, and it's all Scotch tape and duct tape and anything else. It's kind of rough sometimes to watch. Case in point, your conspicuous Slammiversary edited down match.
Yeah, this was the tapings during that week of hell that they had between the Big Four Slammiversary. So I can see how a lot of things are gonna be like really botchy and changed in post production.
Yeah.
Yeah. Boys, where can folks find you on the internet, Eamon?
You can find me on Twitter at Eamon2Please. You can also find the company I work for, which is Inspire Pro Wrestling at InspireProWrestling.com, and on Twitter at InspireProRes.
Garza?
You can find me at DW Revolution at Twitter. You can find me at TheWrestlingRevolution.com. You can also join me as a patron of the Wrestling Mayhem Show. And while you're at it, you can go check out Panel Riot.
Yeah.
I couldn't recommend that more. And really, for all your Midweek War podcasting needs, we do 4 of these every week. So no matter which midweek wrestling show you're into, we've got something to say about something you're watching. So just go to WrestlingMayhemShow.com, and you'll quickly and easily be able to find how you can get our podcast into your ear holes in the simplest manner possible. So we thank you very much, and we thank you too, the Tex-Mex Express, for rolling with me this week, and we thank all of you for watching the Midweek War.
Midweek War.